Welcome. Welcome to Saturday evening LoveFeast program. Most of you were here yesterday. Yes. Such a nice festival we had, and we can see the effect of that festivity here with us today. It was very nice, nicely decorated altar, prashadam, beautiful bhajans, and beautiful spectacular drama actually. Amazing drama, little girls and beautiful dance. Everything was so beautiful. And why we are in the mood of that festivity? Why the remnants, I wouldn't say remnants, why the decoration is still here? I thought it would be nice to continue glorifying Lord Ram. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 11, Text 23, has this beautiful verse. Maybe we can do call and response. Purusho Ramacharitam Shavane Rupadharayan Andrasa Samsha Paro Rajan Karma Bantha Vimuchyate. So the verse goes Purusho Ramacharitam. And the meaning of that line is, Purusha here is described as Lord Ram, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Charitam means the narration about Lord Sri Ram. Shravane Upadharayan means, Shravana we all know is quite known word. Shravana means hearing. So Shravane Upadharayan. So by hearing the narrations of Lord Ramchandra and keeping them within the heart, what happens? Andrasha Yashya Paro. Andrasha Yashya means envy. And Para means you go beyond. So you go beyond envy. And the last line is Karma Bandhi Vimuchyate. Karma Bandha is again quite known term. We have heard this term quite a few times. Basically, you get free from the bondage of material actions and reactions, material actions and reactions. So, what does the word means? That by hearing the narrations of Lord Sri Ram and keeping them within the heart, first we get free from envy, and second we get beyond the bondage of material we get free from the bondage of action and reactions. Now, it is like if many of you would probably have heard this analogy, that the law, or this sort of phrase, that the law doesn't apply to lawmaker. Or if there is a jail, and anyone who goes inside the jail, the rules apply to whoever go to the jail. But does the rules apply to jailer? No, right? Because the jailer acts according to law. Jailer is kind of the lawmaker, and he acts according to the purpose of jail is to actually keep the naughty people in, give them a rehabilitation, so when they come out in the society, they behave nicely and according to the rules of society. So very similar, applying the similar thought, that when devotees who constantly hear about the Lord, while living their world, they get free from envy, they get free from the actions and reactions they get free from the reactions of their action. So that is the meaning of karma, bandha. That is the meaning of karma, bandha, vimuchyate. Now, when we talk about karma, okay, I'll go to Lord Ram, but I thought, let me just explain this first and then we go to Lord Ram. So often, time in devotional circle, we hear about pious activities. Does anyone here can give an example of pious activity? What do you mean by pious activity? Have you heard? Or in Hindi, it is called punya karma. True and not true. Sorry. Anyone else? Huh? Helping? Needy, yes. Helping the needy, yes, Prabhu. So, helping someone, giving a charity, these are the common understanding of pious activities. And on our general understanding, we think, okay, this is nice activity because, we consider that as a good, and of course it is good. But when we apply the devotional understanding to it, it is not enough. Because any activity that we perform, good or bad, it is on the bodily platform. And even if it is good activity, we have to take the material body to come and enjoy it. And devotee's understanding or devotee's principle is actually escape that, to go beyond that. So if giving charity or helping the needy is based on the devotional principle, then it doesn't bind. And that is the meaning of karma bandhana vimuchyate. So performing piety is good, but performing piety on the basis of devotional service or on the principle of devotional service is the meaning of karma bandhana vimuchyate. So when we hear about Lord Ram, one of the benefits that we get is we become karma bandhana vimuchyate. We go beyond the cycle of birth and death. And so with this understanding in mind, now let's talk about Lord Ram. So Saturday morning we had Bhagavatam class and Friday. We had Bhagavatam class and we were glorifying Lord Ram. So I thought we just continue from that discussion further on. Does anyone remember or guess where did we stop last?
You mean the 10 qualities of Lord Ram?
Yes. We were discussing qualities of Lord Ram, and the last quality that we were discussing is that was Vrata, that one who keeps on his vow. And then I said that I'm not going to talk more because that was the drama this evening. And then we had the amazing drama, Vibhishan Sharanagati, yesterday evening. So that drama was actually depicting the quality of Lord Ram. That Lord Ram, the Vrata means basically one who holds on to the promise. He gave the promise to give the protection to Vibhishan. And he, despite of so many agreements that he had, we saw that yesterday in drama, right? Despite of so many agreements that he had within his camp, eventually, Lord Ram was so compassionate, and that Prabhu actually acted so nicely. The compassion, the calm, the composure in the drama yesterday, and then he gave Sharanagati to Krishna. So that was the last quality we discussed. So now we will go ahead and we continue with further qualities. So this is from Valmiki Ramayana, and the qualities there. Kahno asmin sampratam Loke gunavan kahna kahacha vicharan viryavan Dharmagna cha kritagna cha Satya vakyo dridhavrata. Okay, so these are the qualities we discussed on Friday, sorry. And now these are the qualities that we discussed today. Charitrena chako yukata Sarva bhuteshu kohita Vidvan kaha sammardha Cha eka priyadarshana. So, the first quality here that is mentioned is Charitrena. Charitra means character. And, or another way to understand this, Charitra means good conduct. Now, when Lord Ram was asked by Dasharatha Maharaj to leave the forest, to leave the kingdom and go for Vanvasa or go for exile. Lord Ram just took that instruction without any grudge, without any anger, without any frustration. On the other side, Dasharatha Maharaj was upset. Dasharatha Maharaj was so much upset with Kaikeyi and Bharat that he disowned that you are not my wife anymore and Bharat is no longer my son. He was that much upset. And Lord Ram knew about it. So when at the end of the war, when Lord Ram finds about it, and then he actually speaks to Lord Dasharatha, King Dasharatha, to accept Kaikeyi as his wife again, and to accept Bharat as his son. So that is the quality of Lord Ram. In Bhagavatam, Canto 3, there is a description of Sanat Kumar. Sanat Kumar, we have heard the stories where they were going to see Lord Vishnu, and they were actually stopped by Jai Viraj, who were like watchmen outside, protecting the entrance. And they did not allow Sanat Kumar to see Lord Vishnu. And when Lord Vishnu finds out, he comes and he welcomed Sanat Kumar. Why? Because they were Brahmanas. And Lord being Brahmana, he knows how to respect Brahmana. So that is the example. That is the example of his good conduct. So now, if we think and just reflect a little bit here, that if someone does something to us or says something about us, how would we take it? Anyone wants to share? $60 million.
Depends who, what they say, context.
Yeah. We get probably angry, frustrated, and we try justifying ourselves that how I'm right or clean, and the person who is actually sharing this thing will find so many reasons not to believe. Right? Lord Ram didn't do any of those things. This is a similar example we see in Parikshit Maharaj also. Parikshit Maharaj, when he was cursed by Shringi, He did not retaliate, he did not go and fight, he did not try and justify himself. So this is the teaching that we can take, that things can change around us, but how we respond to those situations is totally up to us. And that is the teaching that Lord Ram is giving by showing his good conduct in difficult situations. Another quality here is Sarva Bhuteshu Ko Hitaha. So, just to break down the phrase, Sarva, all Bhuta, living entities, Ko Hitaha, that means he is always thinking the welfare of all living entities. Now, if we see our relationships with anyone in this world, apart from, say, son or your offspring, that there is also some material contamination in it. But apart from offspring, the relationship is transactional. It is always I do something for you and you do something for me, and that's how things operate in this world. And maybe that's how the nature of this world is. So we can say that the things in this world, the way it's operated is selfish. I feel bad using that word, but that's what I realize that. That's my realization is. So now we are studying chapter 6, Purusha Sutta confirmed in our morning Srimad Bhagavatam sessions. And that chapter, so the entire canto 2 actually talks about creation. And in the canto and in the chapters, the descriptions that we have heard so far, it says that Lord Brahma has put things together and created this particular world. But where does the ingredient come from? Lord. The intelligence that Brahma uses to put things together and bring things into manifestation, where that intelligence comes from? The Lord. It's not only that Brahma, when the creations are made, the Lord, in forms of different Purusha, go into each universe and each atom as himself. And then this world is created for naughty souls, or I can say for myself, souls like us, where we don't want to serve to Krishna, and it's like, okay, go, here is this world created for you, go and enjoy. And this morning in Srimad Bhagavatam class, Prabhu mentioned this part. He read it twice and I liked that line very much, so I'm going to repeat it again. That this material manifestation is necessary to give us the chance, us as the conditioned souls, who are unwilling to associate with the Lord in the relationship of loving transcendental service, and for that purpose, He appears. So the sentence ends here. So basically, the creation is made for people like us, so that we can engage in devotional service. And it doesn't stop there. Then Lord comes as Vraja and Ram and Krishna and Narasimha and perform amazing pastimes, so that we get attraction to hear about Him, so that we get attraction to know more about Him, and eventually at some point in some life, or maybe in the same lifetime, we develop a desire to go to Him. So coming back to the word, Sarva Bhuteshu Ko Hitaha, isn't that the welfare of all of us? That Krishna, the Lord, the Supreme Absolute Truth, He's taking so much effort, and when He doesn't come, He sends teachers like Srila Prabhupada, who teaches by the example. So isn't that the well-being of all of us? Now applying this, or looking into specific, into the incarnation of Lord Ram. So when in Ramayana, where Lord Ram was crossing the ocean, he was taking the entire Vanara armies to cross the ocean, and Lord was the supreme. What do you think? He could not cross himself, or he could have just shoot an arrow from the other side of the ocean and could have killed Ravana. He was that capable. But because he was going to take the monkeys with him, he made arrangements. He involved monkeys with him. So he is thinking, he could have done it himself, he has the ability to do himself, but because monkeys are going with them, the entire Vandararmy is going, he made arrangements so that monkey can actually do it. So the bridge was conducted and the pastime occurred so that we can sit here and talk about it and learn from it. Another example is after the war or after the battle with Ravana, what happens is that Lord Ram was asked that all these monkeys are killed, what do I do with them? And at that time, Lord Ram was given a benediction by Lord Rama. And he was told that whoever or whichever monkey that is killed, even if they are deceased, bring them to me and I will make them alive. So Ram did that. All the monkeys that were dead, according to the benediction of Lord Rama, their monkeys, all the monkeys were alive. All the monkeys that were deceased, they were also, they were also given. And Brahmaji accepted, and Brahmaji said that even if, and those whose bodies were still there, because after war what happens, sometimes bodies are buried or cremated. So those bodies were alive, Brahmaji actually put life into them, and those who were deceased, they were alive. And this is, he did for his army, so which is understood, because Vanara, it was his army, so he looked after them. But no, Ram didn't stop there. He actually did the same thing for Ravana's army also. He asked them to, keep the bodies, but Ravana, because his motivation was so to fight and so to win over on Ram, all the soldiers that were died in his army, he actually threw them in the ocean. And the reason behind that is he threw them in the ocean so that, because if the rest of the army see that there's many dead bodies, they will get demotivated. So just to keep that fighting spirit going, he discarded all the dead bodies into the ocean. So this gives us the context, how one hand we have Lord Ram, who was so well-wisher, thinking of everyone, even the soldiers of the opposite party, while Lord Ravana, not even thinking for himself, for his soldiers. He was just so focused on winning and gaining. So the next quality that is Vidwan. Vidwan is common Gujarati, Hindi, Sanskrit word. Vidwan means someone who is very learned. And Chanakya Pandit gives a very nice definition about who is Vidwan. He says that Matravat Paradareshu, Paradraveshu, Roshava, Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu, Yaha Pashyati Sapandita. Pandita here means Vidwan. So Matravat Paradareshu. Matra means mother. Para, another. Dara, wife. So someone who sees others' wife as mother, then Draveshu Rostrava. That means someone who sees wealth of others as lump of dirt. And Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu. And then one who sees every living entity in the same way as they want to see herself. These are the qualities of Pandita. Now here in ISKCON we say everybody Mataji. So it explains that that's the sign of intelligence. That's how the Prabhupada set it up. Lord Ram, after winning over Ravana, the Kshatriya tradition is that once you defeat the king in the battle, his kingdom becomes yours. What did Ravana do? Did he start ruling Lanka? No, he gave it to Vibhishan. So he had no interest in gaining or ruling over Lanka. So that is another, that is why he is displaying his quality as Vidwan. Another one, according to Chanakya Pandit, was that he sees every living entity as one would see himself. So what does that mean? That when Lord Ram went to the forest, he saw Sugriv suffering. And he understood, so why Sugriv was suffering? Because Sugriv's wife also captured by his brother Vali. And he was also in a separation at that time. And because Lord Ram was going through the same pain of a separation from his wife, he could understand the pain of Sugriv. So so that is the quality that he is displaying there. And so that is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Vidya Vinaya Sampane Pandita Lovihastini Sunicheva Supakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So the Pandit, who is Pandit or who is in knowledge, that Pandita Gavi, so Gavi, cow, elephant, dog and dog eater. The Pandit sees everyone in the same level. Same level as in what they see the soul inside the body and not the body. That is the quality. Another definition of Vidwan, which we commonly know, is someone who has a lot of knowledge, or someone who is a learned person, or who is learned in Vedas. And when Lord Ram met Hanuman for the first time, Hanuman, being a very learned person, he recited verses from Vedas, Rig Veda and Yajur and Sham Veda and all that. And Lord Ram could easily understand that this monkey is no ordinary monkey, but that monkey is Hanuman himself. And now, how could Lord Ram pick that up? Because he knew himself that he is speaking of the knowledge. So that is how we can see, that Lord Ram, one of the qualities of Lord Ram, that he is Vidwan. Another quality that is just mentioned in this word is Samartha. Now, we hear this term a lot, Ram Rajya. And what does that mean, Ram Rajya? Is that everyone is living happily ever after. So that is the terminology. And why that terminology is given? Because when after returning to Ayodhya, when Lord Ram continued to reign, his kingdom was flourishing. Everyone was so happy, and there is this verse in Bhagavatam which actually talks about the situation at that time in his kingdom. And I'll just read the translation. It says, when Lord Ram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear, and fatigue were completely absent. And there was even no death for those who did not want it. Now, if we think, so the Sanskrit term is Adi, Vyadi, Jara, Glani, Dukha, Shloka, Bhaya, Klama, and Mrityu. So Adi means 3-4 miseries we have heard, there are 3 types of different miseries by ourselves, by another living entity, and by our mind. So there was no, imagine that situation, really, there is completely no misery at all. And why such situation can prevail? Because Lord Ram was righteous king. He was doing the right thing, looking after Brahmanas, looking after his, following all the principles that a king should follow. So everything was in abundance. So there was no pain, everything was looked after, so there was no misery. And because of these qualities, he was because of his righteousness, because of his bravery, all this quality, he was able to run it in the life. Hence he is called Samartha. Next quality is very nice. Is a Priya Darshanaha. He is very pleasing to see. And hear that Ram is very pleasing personality. He was very handsome, and we see in the example of Shurpankhah that Shurpankhah, when she sees Lord Ram in the forest, she gets attracted and she wants to marry Lord Ram. And of course, Lord Ram didn't marry. In return, Lakshmana actually cut her nose. And when she went back to Lanka and tell this story to his brother Hare and what happened, in that description, now if someone hurts to us, what we will say? We will say all evil things about that person, right? You know, I went there and this happened and that person was so mean and hurt and did this to me. Shurpankhah, in his description to Hare and about Lord Ram, she actually glorifies his bodily beauty. He says that Ram is young, full of beauty, very strong, have broad eyes like lotus, wears the hearts of tree, eats fruits and roots, self-control, ascetic, celibate, with protection to all beings, great and best among those who wills the bow. Ram was so pleasing. So this is someone glorifying Lord Ram who has actually got hurt because of him. So imagine how handsome he was. And then we look at another, we go over the Hare here and we think how beautiful they are. Yeah, and every time, not every time, it's also, we also have to be attentive. I was listening to one class and Amrita Prabhu was saying that, you know, when we come to the temple and we see and we take the darshan of deity, we see what he is wearing, what he is, how beautiful they are looking, what is the color of this dress, that is called attachment. And if you are so attached, then sometimes you remember who Pujari was also. That's what he was saying. So basically, when we look at the deity look beautiful. We think the ornaments or the dress or everything that's making them beautiful. But the description that I was reading, it is saying that beautiful itself. And if we see the Lord without the ornaments, without the beautiful dressing, the beauty is so much that we won't be able to bear it. So to cover the beauty, the ornaments and the dress are put on the deities, so that we can keep it. And such a beautiful description. I like it very much. It is said that when Krishna was in Dwarka, he used to hear about pastimes of Lord Ram. So Krishna, meaning of Krishna is all attractive. So someone who is all attractive is attracted by Lord Ram. So he is Priyadarshana. I mentioned this on Friday as well. That sages, so when Lord Ram was in the forest, at that time there were sages of that Karanya, and they got attracted by the charismatic personality of Lord Ram. And of course Lord Ram was a Pativrata, and they were in a different body form. I mean, they were sages, and Ram was also, Purusha. So said, I will not satisfy your desire, but when I come as a Krishna in my next avatar, I'll satisfy your desire. And those sages became the queens captured by Bhumasura, and of course, Lord Ram was Lord Krishna. So that was his bodily beauty. And then other thing that I was reading. So, but this is all about external beauty, looking beautiful from outside. But pleasing doesn't only mean looking beautiful externally. Pleasing also means having a beautiful heart. And because Lord Ram possesses so many good qualities, it is natural that because our eyes, our vision, when we have that understanding, it is all going to be tainted with that information about his pure heart. We are going to naturally find him beautiful. So internal beauty is more important than external beauty. And that we can see in our practical life examples also, that someone may look beautiful externally, but sometimes the qualities are not there, and that the initial attraction that gets developed get faded very soon. But if someone is very pure at heart, then regardless how they externally appear, the attachment develops easily. I was in Nectar of Devotion actually. I was listening to one class and it is said that because devotees, of course, they are surrendered to Krishna, or they follow the instructions of Krishna. They work according to the Dharmic principles. So wherever they go, they behave like devotee, and because of that, good qualities are developed then automatically. So you will see that someone of very senior Vaishnava or some devotee was very at high stage, everyone is going to like that person because that person is having a very good quality. So that is the meaning of Priya Darshana. Yes. And then further qualities of Lord Ram that is given in 1.1.4 of Valmiki Ramayana. And So then the next quality is Atmavan. Now Atmavan is one who, meaning of Atmavan is one who is always spiritually situated. We know, Dhanvan, one who possesses root one who possesses root, like that. So Atmavan means one who is always spiritually situated. And what does that mean? That means that the person always think that they are soul and they never think about their body. And so how do we see that in Lord Ram? So Lord Ram appeared as a son in Dashrath Maharaj's house after 60,000 years. So he was the firstborn child in Lord King Dashrath. And as a firstborn child, he was very precious. That makes someone have a child after a very long time, after long effort. That the first child was very precious. You look after the child very nicely. Very protective. You become very protective about the children and all that. So, of course, Lord Ram was like that for Dashrath also. And when he was asked to go to exile, of course, Dashrath was reluctant, he was crying and all that. But you know what Lord Ram did? The description says like that. His face was like lotus when he was told that you are going to be coronated, because this past time happened just a day before he was going to get coronated. So his face was lotus when he was told that you are going to get coronated. His face was like a blooming lotus when he was told that there is no coronation and you are going to the forest. So he was lotus before and then became a blooming lotus and he found out that you are going to go to the forest. So that what does that show? That there is no attachment to comfort, no attachment to bodily level, no attachment. Of course, there is love with the father, but there is no attachment that one would perceive in this. When we could get family, comfort, kingdom, wealth. No, he became actually blooming lotus, motivated. So if we take a philosophical point from this, then we know that miseries in this world is inevitable. Krishna himself certified this world as Dukhalayam Sashvatam. And it is said that he certifies, it is his creation. And if he puts the certification that Dukhalayam Sashvatam, that means miseries are guaranteed. Product discovered. It is like that. That if you are here, there are going to be miseries. But actually, this reminds me of a quote from Krishna. Isha Maharaj in one of his talks said that there is a new cafe in the town called Karma Cafe. You don't get what you order, you get what you deserve. And Amrendra Prabhu also very similar along this line, he says that when we see things as a problems, that means there is a lack in Krishna consciousness. Because in Krishna consciousness life, there are no problems. There are only situations set by Krishna. So when we think that there are problems in life, that means there is a lack of Krishna consciousness. That means we need to hear more and we need to read more. I thought this is something very nice to think about, because we all have problems, or different understanding of problems, and we all have different takes on problems, but we just need to change our viewpoint, I think. This is how I take it. So what does that mean? The real life is practicing Krishna consciousness, bhakti. So then, as we were discussing, I think a couple of classes earlier in Bhagavatam, that we just need to catch hold on Trito Hare, or catch hold on to Krishna. Because that's what we all long for, and that's what he longs as well. The next quality of Lord Ram is Jita Krodha. Jita means someone who has conquered, and Krodha means anger. And to give this in a lot of points quickly, again coming back to the example of Kaikeyi, when Kaikeyi asked him to go to forest, of course he did not get angry. When Sita was kidnapped, he did not get angry. When Shurpankhar was there, he did not get angry. When citizens of Ayodhya, they were questioning about Sita's purity, he was not angry at that point also. So, okay, in this example, we say that he was, he was conqueror of anger. One very good example is when they were with Sugriv. And you know how I said earlier that Sugriv's wife was actually taken by his brother Vali. And Sugriv was, so if they made an alliance, then I help you get my wife and you help me get your wife, like that. So with the help of Lord Ram, Sugriv got his wife back. But then after that, of course, they were all going to help Lord Ram to get Sita from Lanka. But that time, I think it was Chaturmas or something. I think it was Chaturmas. So that means Lord Ram said that okay, this time we won't proceed further. What you can do, you have a kingdom, because they want over Bali, so you have the kingdom, and now you have the wife. Go and enjoy it for some time. So they are monkeys' tendency is to enjoy. But in that 4 months, he got so busy with enjoying the kingdom and enjoying the wife that he forgot that 4 months were over. And so after 4 months, Lord Ram was waiting that Sugriv will come and say, okay, I'm ready, let's proceed further with your mission. And it didn't happen. Lakshmana found it out and Lakshmana got angry. I'm going to go and I'm going to kill Sugriv. And at that point, Lord Ram stops him. Lord Ram says that don't go and kill him, just explain him in friendly manner. So that means he's not displaying the anger there also. The question will come, here there is a need of anger, then why he is not getting angry, but we will cover that at the end. So till then, just hold that thought in your mind. I have learned this nice analogy, or what is analogy? How do I say? Anger is actually nicely elaborated. Each letter, A, N, G, E, R, and the meaning. So A here is saying that anger, A represents our atheistic mentality. So why do we get angry? Because we are all atheists. Now there is confronting statement. Atheists because we see ourselves as controller, and when things don't go according to our plan, we get angry. And when we see us as a controller, we deny that Krishna is the controller, and that is atheistic mentality. Another, so then anger and means, and is explained as a negation of Vedic principle. So if we get angry, that means we think on the bodily principle, and that is given in Bhagavad Gita 2.62 and 63. Krodha bhavati samah samah smriti vibramaha smriti vramsha buddhi nasha pranashati. That means from anger, from lust the anger arises, and the anger Krodha bhavati samah smriti vibramaha, intelligence goes, and then everything one after another. It's a disaster recipe, basically. So when we think on a bodily platform, that means we are not working according to the Vedic principles, negation of Vedic principle. That is another meaning of anger. G stands for greed. And when we are not satisfied with whatever we have, the anger arises. And I experience that. So then E stands for envy. When we are envious for others, when we are envious of others being well, the anger arises. And R is given as Vraja hell. Now Vraja hell is a type of a hell. And what is that hell is when it's a place where someone has performed so much sin, lived by the dishonest means of life, killed the animals and all that, they are actually thrown down that level of life. So anger means a letter D, one letter away from danger. So anger, in terms of our practices, I know it is easier said than done, but when we have just a little bit of memory of this kind of talk, we'll probably think one more time before getting angry, till the time the memory remains. So what do we do when we get angry, when we are in the situations? Prabhupada gives three solutions. It is on the basis of 4.11.31 verse, and he says, if you are angry and if you don't know what to do, leave the place. Second, do not open your mouth. And third, develop the quality of a forgiving nature. So, something to take home, something I'll try to remember as well. So, yeah, I thought it is useful. The next quality of Lord Ram is Dyutiman. And the meaning of that word is he's brilliant. How is brilliant? So, Lord Ram appeared in Treta Yuga, and at that time, the means of purification or means of bhakti was sacrifice. And Lord Ram did so much of sacrifice when he was a king. He performed yajnas, and I was reading an article, and in the article it was mentioned that he performed yajnas and he gave so much charity to the Brahmanas that all they went into after, I think it was a tradition that time that you give charity and the Brahmana goes in all directions. So in all directions Brahmana went and he gave everything apart from the clothes that he was wearing. Similar with Mother Sita also, apart from what she had in terms of ornament, it is I think just her nose ring, Lord Ram gave her everything. But because that time was such a good time, Brahmana also at that time were pure, pious. And they came back to Lord Ram, gave everything back to him, saying that we don't need all these things. So then Lord Ram used all these things for the welfare of the people. So yes, he was brilliant that way. Another quality of Lord Ram is Anasuyakaha, or that means he is he's not envious. Now, envy is, when we talk about ourselves, envy is a very core, basic reason for us to be here in this material world. Because we are envious of Krishna and this material is created and boom, we are here. Okay, enjoy yourself, like that. But Lord Ram was not envious. And there is one very nice description that I have read about this, is when Sita Maya was captured and she was in Ashok Vatika, and Ravana was trying to convince her to marry. And Sita, of course, Mother Sita was saying, no, I'm not going to get married to you. And then he says that why don't you become friends with Ram? Now, one would question, why Mother Sita would say to become friends with Ram instead of saying surrender to Lord Ram? And the reason that was explained is that because Sita internally knew that the battle is going to happen and Lord Ram is going to win. So if Lord Ram is going to win, and if Ravana has surrendered unto him, then what will happen? Ravana is king, Lord Ram is king, they are Kshatriyas. So at the Kshatriya level, the king don't surrender to another king. But king can become friend with another king. And Mother Sita knew this nature of Lord Ram. So because she is the Allah, the eternal potency of the God, so she knew this quality of Lord Ram. So instead of advising or instead of suggesting Ravana to surrender to Lord Ram, he says, go and become friends with him. So that shows that there is. I mean, if Mother Sita is saying that Ram was not envious, that means there is what else to be said. And then the last quality of Lord Ram, of 16 quality, the last quality that was given according to Valmiki Ramayana is Kasya Vibhyati Devacha Jata Roshasya Samugre. Okay, that is too long sentence. So the meaning is even the demigods afraid of him when he becomes so angry. So 5 minutes ago I was saying that he was Jita, he has conquered the anger. And now I am saying that one of the qualities is that even demigods are afraid of his anger. So how do we understand that? So there is a pastime. Pastime. So it is the time when they were trying to cross the ocean for Lanka, and the ocean was not giving away. And at that time Lord Ram exhibited the anger. So what he did basically, he sat on the grass, he performed an austerity for 3 days, he prayed to Varuna, who is the lord of water, he prayed to Varuna, and despite of him performing this activity, Lord Varuna of the ocean did not give away, and that made Lord Ram very angry. Now, why did that? It is given in the description that he was so angry that his eyes were red. There was so much heat generating from his anger that all the creatures who were in the ocean, they were feeling the heat. And then Lord Varuna appears, seek for forgiveness, and then eventually gives the way. So then how do we understand this anger? And the explanation behind that is that Sugriva was a monkey and Varuna was a demigod. So demigods are direct servant of the Supreme Personality of God. And so basically they are supposed to follow the instructions of the Lord. But he did not follow. So the Lord Ram's anger here is explained. Ram did not do any austerity for the Supreme to come, but here he did an austerity. And it is demigods' responsibility that if someone performs an austerity for them, they are supposed to reciprocate. here Varuna Dev was not reciprocating. So that was another cause for him being angry, or explanation of him being angry. And in Sugriva pastime, what happens is that only Lord Ram was being affected because that Lord Ram was waiting. And he was waiting for Sita, that he was waiting for Sugriva, that when he gets ready, he can go and fight a battle and all that. But here the entire Vanar Sena was waiting, because if there is no way to go on, then how would the monkeys cross the ocean? So it is not, the anger is not for himself, the anger is for the welfare of the others also. And the last reason that that is given is that time when at that point of time in past time, at the Sugriv time they don't know where Sita Maya is, but by the time they reach to the ocean, they know Sita Maya was there. Hanumanji had found Sita Maya there, and I think she had also said to Hanumanji that she had only survived for 2 more months. So if the Varun Dev is taking a longer time, then and if Ram doesn't come, Sita will give up her life. So that is the big cause of getting angry. So whenever there is an anger, there is a reason behind it. So it's not that anger is not, of course anger is bad, but anger used in the service of Lord, like Hanumanji burnt the entire Lanka, is acceptable. So when we are in such situation, we have to use our intelligence and discretion. How to use the anger, when to use the anger, or things like that. So with this, the qualities of Lord Rams are concluded. Do we still have time? I'll just quickly touch on, because I was trying to find a way that, okay, we are glorifying the Lord Ram, 2 days we had a nice festival, but how is this all connecting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And I was hearing this lecture long time back. The lecture was given by his Grace Amrita Prabhu, and he gave a reference of Narasimha Purana. So Narasimha Purana is basically glorification of Lord Narasimha. And he says that Narasimha pastime, when did that happen? In the Satya Yuga. And at that time, what happens is, at the end of the pastime, when after Hiranyakashipu got killed, Narasimha Prahlad sits on the lap of Narasimha Dev. And with so much of love from Prahlad Maharaj, Narasimha Dev got specified. And at that time, he develops a desire. Who? Narasimha Dev. He develops a desire to have parental affection. And so to satisfy that desire, he appears in a Treta Yuga as Lord Ram. And we can see that when he appeared as Lord Ram, there is beautiful parental affection between Dasharatha and himself. Now, when he was having pastime as Lord Ram, what happens is, because he was the ideal king, ideal ruler, most ideal person, everyone that he used to meet, they were, instead of having a heart-to-heart relationship, they were bowing down, because the feeling of awe and reverence comes automatically. So to have that heart-to-heart, he never had this heart-to-heart feeling. What is a friendship like? So he had that desire. And then you know how I was mentioning the stages of Lankakaranya, so he gave promise to them also. So to satisfy that promise, to satisfy the friendship and heart-to-heart relationship, he came as Krishna. And then we see his Krishna's pastime as friends, in Madhurya Ras and Vatsalya Ras. He satisfied all this. And while he was as Krishna, he experienced the love of Srimati Radharani. And then he could not understand that how a gopi can leave everything in the middle of the night just to meet him. And to experience that, Shri Krishna appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nrsimha, Ram, Krishna and Mahaprabhu. I thought it is, because when we come here to the temple, Nrsimha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Yuga Avatar for us. His instruction, Sankirtan, is Yuga Dharma for us. So how are we making this connection? I thought it will be very nice to make that connection. We are on time, I think. If anyone wants to have one quick question or add anything or correct anything, please feel free. Okay? We all raise up for Aarti. Aarti.